All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to this masterclass explainer on successfully cultivating Terminalia chebula, or as it's locally and affectionately known, Harad. If you've ever found yourself wondering how top-tier nursery managers grow these high-value medicinal plants completely from scratch, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're going to break down the exact step-by-step nursery techniques you need to literally master the growth of this highly sought-after tree. But before we get into the nitty-gritty nursery techniques, just take a look at this incredible subtropical fruit. It's a real beauty, right? This is the Harad fruit, and it represents the ultimate culmination of a whole lot of careful nursery work. We always want to start with our end goal in mind, and these vibrant green teardrop-shaped fruits, that's exactly what we're working toward. So why go through all the trouble? Well, we put in the heavy effort because this plant's medicinal value is absolutely massive. It's kind of a heavy hitter. The fruit itself serves as a super powerful digestive aid and has noted laxative properties. Plus, it is remarkably rich in vitamin C, and famously, it's a core ingredient in the highly regarded Ayurvedic trifala mixture. The utility doesn't even stop at the fruit, though. Even the leaves serve a vital purpose as animal fodder. Getting this right in the nursery pays huge dividends, for sure. To pull all that off, we've got to start at the very beginning. Phase 1, fruit collection and preparation. Now, what's really fascinating here is the sheer variation in fruit size you might encounter. Look at the differences. You're going to want to collect these specifically from middle-aged trees. And you can't just pick them whenever you feel like it either. There's a really critical window between January and March for collection. Once you've gathered your harvest, you have to meticulously remove the outer pulp and properly store what's left. It's the foundational step for literally everything that follows. Let's map out exactly how this plays out over the season. As you can see, that January to March collection window seamlessly transitions into the crucial seed pretreatment phase throughout March and April. Ultimately, all of this careful timing is what sets you up for the absolute perfect sowing window right in the month of April. Sticking to this timeline is absolutely essential if you want your nursery to succeed. But listen, just tossing seeds into the dirt isn't going to cut it with this plant. Let's move to phase 2. Secrets to high germination. You see, raw Harad seeds have incredibly poor natural sprouting rates, which means we have to unlock some specific techniques to help them along. Historically, nurseries might use cow dung scarification, which is basically just softening the seeds in cow dung for about 30 days. But honestly, that only yields a 35 to 40% germination rate. The real game changer? Manually extracting the kernels by mechanically breaking the endocarp. That's the hard outer shell. By doing this instead, your germination rate immediately doubles to an impressive 70 to 80%. I mean, it's a night and day difference in yield. Once you've put in the elbow grease to mechanically extract those kernels, you've got to protect your investment. Always treat your extracted kernels with a fungicide like DM45 or Bavastin at a rate of 2 grams per kilogram before you sow. Sowing happens in April, and you can start them in nursery beds or sow them directly into polybags. But here's the absolute critical part. Your polybags must contain a precise 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of soil, sand, and FYM. That's farmyard manure. So, to put it simply, if you follow this mechanical extraction method and stick strictly to that soil and fungicide protocol, the results are incredibly rapid. You'll actually see life pushing right through the soil in just 1 week. The entire germination process wraps up fully in under 20 days. Pretty amazing, right? Now, we need to ensure the long-term quality of our future trees, which brings us to phase 3, vegetative reproduction methods. While seedlings are great on their own, to really guarantee those amazing medicinal benefits we talked about, we have to produce true-to-type stock that perfectly mimics the parent plant. To do this, we use vegetative propagation. You're going to need to exercise some patience here and wait until your seedlings reach 2 years of age. At that point, they become the absolute perfect, sturdy rootstock, the base foundation required for your grafts. When it comes down to the grafting itself, both patch budding and cleft grafting are technically possible, but we highly recommend the cleft grafting method. The process is straightforward, but it does require precision. Step 1, take a 10 to 15 centimeter long scion, just a fresh cutting, from your mother stalk. Step 2, execute the graft onto your 2-year-old rootstock in the last week of March to the first week of April. Step 3, wrap the newly joined area tightly and securely with a poly sheet. And finally, step 4, keep that newly grafted stock entirely in the shade to protect it as it heals. The transformation here is rapid and, honestly, just incredibly rewarding to watch. After making your initial cleft graft and heavily wrapping it in a protective polish sheet, you just need to keep it shaded. Within a mere week's time, beautifully sprouted buds will start to emerge right out of the scion. It is so exciting to see that rapid transformation take place right before your eyes. Now, a sprouted bud isn't a mature plant just yet. As we move into the hot, dry growing season, your nursery management strategy has to pivot over to maintenance mode. Your main focus must be on regular irrigation to keep the grafts consistently moist during those hot stretches. Equally important is the regular disbudding of the original rootstock. Actually, this is absolutely crucial. You want to make sure all the plant's energy is being driven upward into your new, carefully selected scion and not wasted on random wild shoots coming from the base. If you meticulously follow this calendar and these protocols, you're setting yourself up for some incredible results. Let's move on to our final phase. Phase 4, keys to nursery success. By the time July and August roll around, your shaded, well-irrigated grafts will have completely transformed into lush, vigorous plants. At this stage, they'll outgrow their polybags and be totally ready for the next big step, transplanting. They can be successfully moved into much larger pots or transported out for field planting. They're robust, they're true to type, and they are completely ready to thrive. To really hammer home why we use these exact methods, let's take a look at the data. This perfectly illustrates why these specific techniques form a literal masterclass in nursery efficiency. By ditching traditional cow dung scarification and opting for mechanical breaking, you're locking in an impressive 80% germination rate. And by choosing cleft grafting over patch budding, you're securing a really strong 70% sprouting rate. That 70% success rate is a vital number to remember. It specifically proves why cleft grafting on 2-year-old rootstock during that tight late March to early April window is the undisputed champion for propagating this species. It gives you incredible predictability and a high yield in what could otherwise be a really tricky propagation process. So now that we've unlocked the mysteries of its notoriously low natural germination, mapped out the strict soil ratios, and revealed the exact step-by-step grafting timeline to guarantee true-to-type trees, well, the only question left is for you. With mechanical breaking and cleft grafting yielding up to an 80% overall success pipeline, are you ready to cultivate the immense, ancient medicinal power of Harad in your own nursery? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy cultivating.